Juliet Jeske, Decoding Fox News. So this is part of my series where I went through 155 old episodes of Fox News and curated clips about Jeffrey Epstein because the network is currently completely ignoring the scandal. So this first video of this series, of just this particular little group, is about how they were handling people's names on the so-called lists that were associated with Jeffrey Epstein. And it's very funny because in this clip, they're saying, well, it's not a big deal if your name is on the list. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. We're not implicating anybody into anything criminal. But then at the same time, they're mentioning certain names and going, well, I mean, that's alarming that their name is on this list. So this is all over the place. And my favorite is Judge Jeanine Pirro, because again, these clips are over a period of 3.5 years. She's no longer at Fox, at least currently. She mentions 3 men who are implicated as part of being, sexual predators or sexual impropriety. And she doesn't mention Donald J. Trump, even though that 28 women have accused him of some form of sexual misconduct. And E. Jean Carroll won a civil lawsuit against him where a jury of her peers and his peers found him liable for sexual assault. So, yeah, you probably should have included Donald J. Trump if you're going to talk about men who've been accused of sexual impropriety. But anyway, here we go. This is sort of like, what's in a name? Don't worry about it, but worry about it. Here we go.
Everyone who sees a name on the manifest, don't go, okay, guilty. Right. This guy was doing other things.
Being on the list, I want to say, is not an indication of any wrongdoing.
We do want to make clear that most of the people named in the suit, they've not been accused of wrongdoing.
Have any of them come out and said, hey, look, I went to a party for the environment, or we went to save the whales or something?
That's what I'm sure we're going to hear from all of these people. Again, no one is accused of wrongdoing here, but seeing these big names come out, it's tying them to this yucky scandal, really, it's concerning.
People, because they're in the Rolodex, they're on the list, does not mean they did anything wrong. On this show, and we have done it over and over again, we don't rush to judgment. We believe in the presumption of innocence. And I am appealing to people not to rush to judgment. Even though these names are now public information, there are names that I'm certain were not involved or knowledgeable of this. I could be certain of it.
Queen kicked Andrew to the curb after his ties to Epstein came to light. And the prince was accused of sleeping with a minor. She stripped the prince of all of his royal duties and banished him to the back of the castle.
The explosive document dump also name drops 170 of Epstein's visitors, including Michael Jackson, magician David Copperfield, and former President Donald Trump.
Think also about the fact that you've got David Copperfield, Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson, Kevin Spacey. What is common among all of them? They've all been previously accused of sexual assault or some sexual deviancy.
The names of several A-list celebrities also come up in this latest release. We have model Naomi Campbell, actors Leonardo DiCaprio, Kevin Spacey, Cate Blanchett, Bruce Willis, and Cameron Diaz, all mentioned here. Same with Star Wars creator George Lucas, Michael Jackson, and magician David Copperfield.
I asked him casually on my show one time, you never flew in Epstein's jet, did you? And he goes, actually, yeah, I was digging for dinosaur bones in Montana one time with him and caught a ride home on the jet. And my ex-wife's really good friends with Ghislaine. I was like, oh, whoa.
So this next clip is about Pam Bondi. And Pam Bondi she's the Attorney General, and she kept hyping this up, like, I'm going to release these Epstein files. Back in February, she said, they're on my desk. And they're on my desk, and I'm going to look through them, and boom, everything's going to come out. And she came out with this phase 1 of the Epstein files, and she put them in these big white binders, and they had a cover on them, and she gave them out to right-wing influencers, and they proudly held them and smiled at the White House, which was totally, completely nuts. And what is the craziest thing about this story is that she didn't, look through what she gave them first, because it was all previously published material. There's nothing new in it, nothing of any interest. It was just nothing. It was a complete nothing. And she, instead, and I do find this humorous because it's so nutty, she then blamed the FBI, specifically in New York City, for somehow not giving her the information that she needed, and like threatened that these people would be arrested and they would be criminally charged. These FBI agents would be criminally charged for not giving her that information. Again, this was way back in February. Absolutely nothing has happened. There's been I haven't seen anything in the press about anybody being arrested or any indictments. It's just really, were you really going to arrest people for that? Because I think you're making it up. I'm just saying. I think this is fabricated. I think this whole thing is very screwy. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, she just gets silent and goes, you know what? There are no Epstein files. There's nothing. We have nothing to send you because we have nothing here. There's nothing here. So that changed. And then, again, this is such a crazy story that the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times came out with articles around the same time that basically said, guess what? What we know of as the Epstein Files, Trump's name is all over them. Pam Bondi knows it, and Trump saw this in May, and that's why they are now no longer available. We're not going to get them. And then right after that, Wall Street Journal posted a letter that they claimed with this drawing of a nude woman. It's like rudimentary drawing, and then across the vaginal area was a Trump signature, and it was this goofy poem, and it was like about secrets, and it was supposedly a card or a letter that Trump gave Epstein on his birthday. And Trump said he didn't write it, he didn't send it, and then he threatened to sue the Wall Street Journal. And this is important because the Wall Street Journal is owned by the same person who owns Fox News. So this is so bizarro. So Rupert Murdoch is apparently dealing with this lawsuit from Trump that I doubt will go anywhere because I don't think Trump wants discovery. And I wouldn't go up against Rupert Murdoch if I were Trump. But anyway, that's where we're going. So this is Pam Bondi. And the best part of this clip, I personally found it very humorous, was Raymond Arrero on the Ingram Angle openly making fun of this whole Epstein Files Phase 1 situation. Here we go.
Pam Bondi and the Epstein list. Right back.
Releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
Part 1 of the Epstein files were released. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is not happy. Pam Bondi now blasting bureaucrats in the FBI, not Kash Patel, for a lack of transparency after reports that a field office actually hid the documents from Bondi and newly sworn-in FBI Director Kash Patel.
Those people better be on the phone tonight to good criminal defense attorneys because willfully concealing documents from the Attorney General, misrepresenting the truth, looks very much like obstruction of a federal agency. That's a crime. And if 2 or more people are involved, that's conspiracy to obstruct justice.
A group of influencers left the White House bearing binders containing the Epstein Files Phase 1, Laura. There's just one problem.
Nothing in it.
All the information in the binders were already in the public domain. Epstein's redacted address book, the flight logs.
Yeah.
But these influencers are running around like they've got, Wonka's golden tickets. They're supposedly a rundown of alleged pedophiles. I don't know why they're smiling and waving the binders around.
Maybe they haven't.
And it really does entirely come down to credibility. And when you have Dan Bongino and Kash Patel from the inside telling us what's going on, you can actually trust them because they've been very, very critical about the FBI from the outside.
Kash Patel said about that Epstein client list shortly after he was nominated as FBI director. Watch.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
So the last part of that clip is not from Fox News, but it was shown on Fox News. And that was Benny Johnson, who is a propagandist who was paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not paid anywhere near that, but he was paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by a Russian company to make anti-Biden propaganda. So he was already making the anti-Biden propaganda and they paid him. He apparently didn't know the company was Russian. So he was unwittingly working for Russia, but he still was working for Russia. No, Kash Patel, who was on his show, I just love that clip because he's like, put on your big boy pants and release the Epstein files. Now, he's the one in charge. He never realized that maybe it may not be so easy. And he's officially part of this whole, there are no Epstein files. There's nothing to see here. Go back to your regular scheduled programming. So just hilarious. So put on your big boy pants. And Ingram, so far, I just want to add very quickly, on Fox News, is the only person on primetime that spent any energy on this story. And she's dropped it. Last week, she didn't mention it at all. But she was the only one that kind of tried to pay attention to this and kind of tried to say, hey, wait a second, there's some problems here. Hannity doesn't care. Jesse doesn't care. They're talking about all kinds of other things. So next up, I just added this because I was going through, again, hundreds of clips. And I thought, let's relive this. This is Elon Musk, the head of Doge, former head of Doge, richest man in the world, openly calling out Trump, saying that Trump's name is on the Epstein list, and that is why it's not being released. And this was their huge feud because Musk was mad because Doge was not the dream he thought it would be, and the subsidies that would help his company were not in the one big beautiful bill. And it was a glorious, glorious meltdown between two horrible, hideous human beings who, should be nowhere near government, yet had all this power. So it was just kind of fun to watch. And what's funny, I didn't include this, but everybody on Fox kept saying, oh, they'll mend their fences. They're going to be best friends again. Not really. Okay, so here we go. Let's relive the glory of Elon Musk calling him out. And now we have more evidence that Elon Musk is correct, thanks to the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. Here we go.
It's not new. Sometimes when you're angry, you say things you don't mean. Greg knocked my hair last week, and I said he's on the Epstein list.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't mean that. I made it up.
How did you know, though?
How did Musk know? No one knows what the list is. He didn't know. But
Musk once said he loved Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. Now, quote, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein Files. This is the real reason they've not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT.
Such a 180. I think Elon is hurt, and that's why he brought up the Epstein stuff, which is, it'll play big in terms of Twitter and social media, but it is, as was described earlier, a very low blow at this moment.
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein Files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Many Democrats pounced.
The Epstein file thing was way over the top and just crazy to say that Trump was in the Epstein files. I mean, what are you doing? Sometimes when people get drunk, they do crazy things, but this is a total escalation. And you also wouldn't say I was on the Epstein list, so that's a little bit different in our situation. So I do think that it'll never be the same.
Trump looks good here because he didn't give Musk what he wanted. It shows that he can't be bought, and he's taken the high road after the Epstein hit.
The thing that did it was not the criticism of the bill, which is not helpful, but the president will overcome that. When he said the Epstein thing and when he said the president should be impeached. Are you crazy? This is an hour after you got the key to the Oval Office.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more content like it, please like and subscribe and share this video as it helps bring more traffic to this channel. Decoding Fox News is also on pretty much every social media platform except for TikTok. Not a huge fan of that platform. They don't seem to quite understand what I do. And I'm 100% supported by people just like you. There's some links in the description of this video if you want to become a paid subscriber, paid supporter to Decoding Fox News. But again, just sharing this video also helps. Thank you so much.